Everyone, happy Monday. I just got in a while ago from walking outside. That's why I'm in my workout gear. And anyway, anytime I'm outside when I'm walking around, I usually get inspired by something. So today I want to touch bases with you and get a little personal. All right. One of my biggest challenges that I've struggled with on and off in my life since high school has been depression. And when I finally took the time to really dig into it and find out why it's happening, it really comes down to maladaptive coping skills to stressful situations, coping skills acquired through childhood and repeated during adulthood, which includes that self-defeating mind talk, right? And that relationship to self. I mean, can anybody relate to that? I know that mind talk we can just really beat ourselves up, which is not healthy, right? It doesn't help anything. But these inadequate coping skills have manifested in my life by decreasing self-care, which means that sometimes I may sleep too much, or I may not eat regularly, or I may not meal plan for balanced meals as well. And there may be more emotional eating to soothe and comfort, and binge watching TV to numb out and avoid. Does anybody else do that? Right? Too much TV watching. Um, but I understand, depression can show up differently for people, and that's fine. That's just how it shows up in my life. Okay. Um, but many people are curious that, how have I overcome this? And the truth is that it is a work in progress. These ingrained habits take time and patience to peel back the layers. And the truth is, some days and weeks and some months and years are better than others. Okay. So it's a process, and that's life. But anytime you set out to change or improve yourself, there's going to be ups and downs. And the way to continue to make change is not to stop. Okay. Is to continue moving forward. You have to move forward. And also being curious around why you're doing the things you're doing, which means increasing that self-awareness, but especially without judgment. Okay. And that can be easier said than done. Okay. I know that. So we just keep working at it. So a game changer for me, though, was when I really started embracing and learning about mindfulness, or in other words, learning to live more in the here and now, embracing and enjoying the moment and living less in the regrets of the past or the anxieties of the future. And the practice of mindfulness also encompasses stepping back and observing thoughts and feelings without attaching yourself to them, being more as an observer and evaluating things again out of that non-judgment. Doing this has really decreased that negative mind talk too, and helps to better problem solve to then take action. All right. Now, is this an easy process? Not necessarily. Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. It just depends upon the situation. But what I've learned is that, again, it's always going to be a work in progress. It's never going to be a one and done thing. It's like when I trained for my marathon or my triathlons in the past. It was the process of training for the races that brought about the biggest rewards, not the race day itself. It was a striving towards the goal to improve my physical and athletic ability. Okay. So the race comes and goes, but it's the process of getting there. Okay. The process of getting there that you learn the most about yourself, and that you practice the skills. You practice those skills and you put in the work and do it consistently. That consistency is so important, even when you're not feeling like it. I know it's hard. I found that when I made myself train, when I didn't feel like it, I actually ended up feeling even better afterwards. And this is the same in daily life, is what I found. So it's amazing how you can feel when you push through something that's really hard. And doing that actually starts rewiring the brain. Okay, it's rewiring the brain for those new health habits. Okay, so in my life, it's really been about taking things day by day, putting one foot in front of the other, and when needed, picking myself up, brushing myself off, and what do? I start over again. I start over again and again and again, and pushing through those hard times to get improvement. Okay, because improvement does happen, but you have to go through those hard times. So no, it's not easy, but it is easier to work on slow improvement than to keep doing the same thing over and over again in that Groundhog's Day loop, right? Being stuck in that loop. We don't want to be in that loop anymore, right? So, I mean, do you resonate with any of that? Um, so having that growth mindset, really working on that growth mindset, because you don't just get a growth mindset, you do have to work at that. I mean, being open to making mistakes. Okay, we're going to make mistakes, but it's continuing forward. It's so important to embrace that forward motion because that's the reality of real daily life and making that long-term sustainable change. Okay. And what can also help facilitate change the fastest is getting help or asking for help because it's really hard to make meaningful change by yourself, whether it be a friend or a family member or a professional. So, if you want to make some meaningful health and lifestyle changes, consider reaching out for help as it's definitely needed at times to get you on the right track and get those needed skills and strategies. Okay. And I get it. It's hard to be vulnerable and ask for help. But sometimes we just have to do hard things, right? Doing hard things and moving through that process gives you that growth. Okay. And we need that growth. So, anyway, I'd really love to hear from others if any of my story resonated with you and if you've had similar struggles and experiences. I really love to hear back from people. So, please feel free to give me a thumbs up and give me a quick note in the comments and let me know what you're thinking. Okay. All right. Well, that's it for now. And until next time, see you later. Bye.